at disrupting them in the United States. And that's a vulnerability. That complacency becomes a vulnerability where we think, well, we haven't seen those attacks in the United States, so we're going to take those tools away. This should be a reminder about why we need them.
You know, President Bush once said, if America shows weakness and uncertainty, the world will drift toward tragedy. That will not happen on my watch. Do you believe that's happened? I mean, does this have anything to do with American power or not?
Look, I think what we're seeing is when America fails to lead, nature abhors that sort of vacuum, and others will move to fill that vacuum. You know, I think we've unfortunately, the administration has taken the view that the threat isn't a way threat. It's something that happens over there in Syria. It's not an American problem. We've heard some talk about concern about foreign fighters, but frankly, you can't approach this as I call it, an away game, right? Because of the internet, because of social media that ISIS uses to recruit and inspire individuals inside the United States, and because of travel, right? We know that these guys, the foreign fighters, will bleed out. They continue to be drawn to this alleged caliphate that they have, and they will bleed out. And they will bleed out first to places like Western Europe, like France, like London. But inevitably, you're going to find that they make their way to the United States. I mean, the FBI has got investigations in all of the 50 states. We've seen a number of arrests over the last 18 months related to ISIS and terrorism inside the United States. And so, look, we need the resources and the tools in order to prevent these attacks, and it's still going to be a challenge.
The target selection here, Fran, when you see a concert hall, a crowded concert hall with an American band, a stadium with a jam-packed with the current president of France along with the former, with thousands of people there, and then restaurants where people socialize and connect with one another socially, meant to produce mass casualties.
Absolutely. And look, and the weapons that they use, the AK-47s, we've heard eyewitness accounts where these guys were prepared with ammunition to reload multiple times. So these guys were in there and they were determined to cause as many casualties as possible.
And yet we saw what we believe, what the authorities are all saying, ISIS kill 224 people on a Russian jetliner 2 weeks ago as it was flying over Egypt. 224. And tonight they're saying, the reports so far are believed 158 dead in Paris. But there's a special brand of terror when the people know it's coming, and it happens in different pockets and in places unlike an airplane where you understand you are at some risk, places where, for lack of a better term, you don't expect it.
Right. I mean, and that's, the nature of these multiple simultaneous attacks, it has that quality to it, right? Because the first one happens, and the city sees that, and all of a sudden these attacks begin to pop up at various locations, and then nobody feels safe. No one in Paris could possibly have felt safe as these events were unfolding. And in fact, for good reason, law enforcement in Paris told Parisians to stay home, stay in your homes. And frankly, so people were frightened. No one felt safe anywhere in the public.
The deputy mayor came out tonight and said we are truly facing an unknown and unprecedented era in Paris, France. Fran, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Megan.
We're going to go to our live